guys can hear me. Yes, you should be able to. The meter's bouncing, so we should be all right. It has been a great day today. I have worn myself out just a little bit, walking around the city of Morris, getting used to everything. I took an unexpected Google Maps detour and ended up doing an impromptu tour of the college campus because I went the wrong way, trying to get somewhere. So I have literally walked all over the city today. Even wore myself out enough that I took a nap when I got back to the hotel room. It is lovely here. The weather was beautiful. I only needed a light jacket. Sorry, trying to get my desk arranged. Things are falling over. Yeah, there should be snow coming in later this week. So we're going to go from nice spring temperatures back to winter for a little bit, but that's actually not unexpected to me. I really don't count winter as done until roughly May 31st. So, give me just a second. I need to pop out chat so I can keep talking to you guys while I actually start working on the art. You will notice there was no music ramp-ups today because Ubi's computer is down and the music runs on Ubi's computer, so that's okay though. We didn't need it anyway. And we are back to work on our castle in the forest. As you can see, I've got all parts popped up. There's actually only a few trees left to work on. And then we're going to get in some other detail work. I'm going to turn off the stuff that we don't need to work on so we can just focus on what we do. So you're going to see elements disappearing right, left, and center for a moment. But it is okay. We shall bring it back when it's time. I just need to be able to focus on what needs to be worked on and not have all the other crap in the way. Okay, so that tree is done. That tree is done, so we can turn those off. All right. Now you look at a tree floating in the air. Isn't that lovely? Da-da-da. Tree 3, the right side. Do-do-do. I think it's this. No, that one's had work done on it. That one's had work done on it. This one needs to be worked on for sure. So we'll start with this tree. Oh my goodness, I am so glad to be with you guys tonight. It actually, it started off a little crazy, the trip up here, but then it settled off right away. And so basically we got like 200 miles down the road and realized that we had left behind...
Only 40.
Oh, 40 miles, sorry. My husband's correcting me, which is good because sometimes I need that. Got 40 miles down the road and realized we had left our internet router behind. It's a portable router, and so it means we can stream from anywhere, but without it, we are dead in the water. And no internet. And so we had to call our son and ask him to come meet us with the router and turn back around. So he met us halfway so that we didn't have to go all the way back into town to get it. But that could have been a very bad thing if we had gotten all the way to Morris without that. So we are grateful that we figured out the problem early, but beyond that problem, everything worked fine. You got pulled from your wife sitting across from you? Oh, yeah. So we made it. No problems. Got into town about 6 o'clock. We were both pretty wiped out. We stayed up a couple of hours after that and then went straight to bed. And then the only other thing that was a little bit of a hitch was Randy forgot his travel pillows, and that makes it harder for him to sleep because he needs hard pillows to support his neck, and these pillows on the bed are very, very soft. So not quite enough support for him. We're going to have to figure out a solution to that problem eventually, but For now, we're using rolled up towels to try and help. And maybe we'll grab some of the clothes in the luggage and see if we can't roll some of that up and position it correctly. And until we can get the money to buy some pillows that will work better. Updates for those of you who have been participating in or know about the fundraiser. We have raised quite a bit actually, but GoFundMe does not pay it out all at once. It tends to come in little chunks here and there. So this next chunk has not yet paid out, and we used up pretty much everything on the way up here. So almost everything that had been dispersed to us, I should say. It's nowhere near everything, but it has gotten us so far. So much of what we needed has been gotten. And now we're just, and we've been fortunate, very blessed in everything. This has literally probably been one of the smoothest moves in terms of how it's gone. Playing his guitar, and you're trying to listen. Poor Linda, trying to listen over Tom's playing. But, you know, at least you have a musical accompaniment, you know? I mean, hey, could be worse. Could be worse. It could be a guy who doesn't know how to play guitar playing in your ear, too. That would be even worse, I think. You know, you're having to listen to bad guitar playing while you're trying to talk to people. So, but yeah, we are actually, like I said, God's hands have been all over this move, and I know it's because you guys have been praying for us, and other people have been praying for us, and we've certainly been praying for us. And he got to meet the station manager today, and there's updates that he'll give on his stream about how that went, but I can just tell you it's positives all around so far, and that's exactly how I was hoping it would go, but you never know. I mean, some of you don't know the story, but years ago, in fact in 2018, Randy had looked for a job in radio, and we found one in a small station in Winnemucca, Nevada. And if you don't know where Winnemucca, Nevada is, don't feel alone, because I will guarantee you almost nobody except people who live in Winnemucca know where that is. It is definitely not something that you are going to hear about a lot. We knew where it was because we lived in Elko, Nevada, which is another place most people have never heard of. But it's beautiful country out there. I mean, beautiful. Mountains, all that. So anyway, he got a job which seemed like it was going to be his dream job. Everything seemed right. Now, Randy and I both made the mistake that both of us had misgivings about it. Neither of us spoke to each other. Neither of us talked to each other about the misgivings. We just went ahead and pulled the trigger and accepted the offer. They didn't offer any relocation help or anything, so that should have been our first red flag. We get out there to Winnemucca. We are literally there for a week. He's on his way out of town. He's preparing to turn over the station to us. We show up that morning, and there's a truck that doesn't belong there at the station. And we're like, what the heck, man? Who's there? And because we got there very early, so nobody else should have been there. And get there, get inside, and the owner is there with this guy that we don't know. Apparently it was the guy he'd let go before we got there, which is hilarious. Hope that worked out for him. At any rate, and he looks at it and he says, this isn't going to work. And I'm not understanding what he means, because I'm thinking we had started rearranging furniture. I'm thinking that's what he means, that the rearranging of the furniture isn't going to work. But Randy caught on real quick. And Randy's like, what do you mean this isn't going to work? It's like, well, this, you guys just, it's not going to work. And he starts listing off things that we had already put plans in place to solve that weekend. as his reasons why it wasn't going to work. One of which was that we didn't have a vehicle. And he was concerned that we wouldn't be able to do the job that we were being hired to do because of it. But we already had plans in place to solve that, because I had a client that was about to pay me $5,000, which would have been more than enough to pay for a vehicle. And, you know, so he literally let us go on the spot, no warning, nothing. Just, it was done. And fortunately, I did have that client who was about to pay me, and so he did pay me the rest of what he owed, and we were able not to be stuck in Winnemucca, Nevada with no way out and no way back home. And that, my friends, is how we ended up moving right back to Texas, where our family was. We ended up being there for, well, until 2024, when we moved to Iowa to be with our son and granddaughter. He was an incredibly special guy. We'll just put it that way. I hope, the sad thing is, he and his wife were leaving to go back home to Georgia. There was a hurricane that hit the area they moved to. Pretty much wiped it out. So I don't know what all he came back home to. I'm hoping that he and his wife were safe. I certainly wish no ill on anyone. But, yeah. Good to see you, Malachi. Yeah, so we ended up, after that experience, we were definitely a little more skeptical, and definitely did more talking to each other about this move than we did about that move to Winnemucca. I mean, both of us were discussing it pretty much every day, and I had definitely was praying over it the whole time, whether it was God's will or not, because I don't want to move in a direction God doesn't want us to move, because that never works out. So ends up being a fruitless waste of time, and quite frankly, I don't have enough life left in me to waste time. But this move looks like it's everything that we had hoped it would be so far. The only thing that we don't have yet is the place to live on a more permanent basis nailed down. But without even being prompted to offer, his boss, just told us that if we need another week in this place, the Hudson Inn, which is actually quite nice, that just let him know and he'll extend the stay. So we're not rushed to find something, which is a very big blessing. Rushed decisions usually don't work very well. They usually end up being poor decisions that prove semi-fruitless in the end. So we are grateful to have what we have. We are grateful for the opportunities. Let me find the next tree that needs working on. I did come in and label some of these. There we go. There's a tree that needs work. Right there. Get to work on that. Yeah, and he sold that station 6 months later. Yeah, he was afraid we weren't going to be able to make it profitable, but he didn't even give us a chance to. And the guy he put in place, which was really odd, hates money, so I'm pretty sure he wasn't going to be delivering what he needed either. I mean, we at least had entrepreneurship experience, and I had client sales experience that I was willing to put to work for the station. I had already started to make connections and things in the town, and he just pulled that rug out from underneath us because he didn't see how we were going to be able to handle it, and left us with nothing, and certainly wasn't worried about any repercussions to that. Kind of an ugly thing. I will never forget that. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to hold on to that guy's name or hold ill will against him. He must have been going through his own stuff, but still, it was like crazy. I have never seen somebody do that before. And it was worse because, we had given up everything to make that trip, invested in so much money, and literally probably should have known there was a problem. There was a fire that blocked our way midway through the trip. We were on an Amtrak train, and we had gotten a sleeper car, thank goodness. It was the first time we'd ever invested in something like that, which if you ever have a chance to go Amtrak and do the sleeper car, it is amazing and definitely worth it. They give you like 3-course meals, and they're like very nice meals, and all the upper end stuff. At any rate, we treated ourselves to a sleeper car, a private sleeper car. Now, midway through the trip, wildfires broke out and literally blocked the train from going forward. They had to turn it around and go back to Denver. Should have taken that as a sign, I guess. But we instead rented a car and found a way around to make sure that we could get into town when we'd said we were going to be there. And I think that was part of it. When he figured out that we came in a rental car, he wasn't too impressed that he helped us take the rental back to Reno where we had to drop it off, but he wasn't very impressed with that, I guess. But nonetheless, that was the story of the day. And it was a good lesson in always making sure to check in with God before you, and with each other, to trust each other's intuition and say, does this feel right? Is this the direction we should both be going before we jump on things? But sometimes you got to learn the lessons the hard way. Yeah, he is going live. Yeah. No, he's going live. He's just not going to have his instruments, so he won't be playing music per se. He's just going to chat with y'all, and it'll be that kind of a catch up and type thing. I did finally find the extension cord that we needed to hook Randy's computer up, but we haven't gotten it done yet, so. Hey, it's Steve Gunner. Or as Ubi puts it, Steve Gunner. There we go. That's my best rendition of that. Take it or leave it. Probably should leave it. Probably deserve a refund on that. And I'll give you back all the money you paid for it. But yeah, we are getting ourselves settled in one step at a time. One step at a time. It will be good once, I think once we find our place, it's going to be well worth the waits that we've had to wait to get everything going. We both learned a lot over the course of the last few years. We've both grown up a lot. Changed completely how I operate. I mean, this job I have treated like I've never treated a job search before in history, and it went well because of it. I kind of took my marketing skills and applied it to the job search, so that helped a lot. Yes, and I just want to thank all of you for being here on my stream. I do really appreciate it when you guys show up. It just makes, it's not that I wouldn't do the art without you, because it does give me a valid excuse to do nothing but art for an hour. And I'm happy to have that excuse because, a lot of my work doesn't involve art. And if I don't give myself a valid excuse to do it, then I probably won't touch my art for a while. And when I don't touch my art for a while, it kind of starts to bottle up inside of me, all the stuff that all my creativity starts to get snarled up and chaos starts to build in my mind. This is one of the things I learned about myself last year, was that me working on creative projects is how my brain organizes itself. It's how it organizes all the data that comes in and processes things and gets me where I needed to be. And so when I'm not working on creative projects regularly for myself, I start to get bottlenecked in my creative capability, and I stop being as productive in every other area of my life as I should be. So it's actually more important than I ever thought it was. And that came about because I was working on this, making sure they get to play. Exactly, Rob. That playtime is an important part of a creative's life. And if we're not giving ourselves the appropriate time and effort to be creative, then it sort of bottlenecks the whole thing. We stop functioning properly. I guess technically the creative outlets are like lubricant for the mind. And so when we're not being creative or not giving ourselves appropriate creative outlets, then things start to freeze up and rust up and stop moving the way they're supposed to move. Stop flowing. And basically, we lose a great deal of the stuff that makes us us. But it's hard sometimes to justify taking the time to play when you're worried about making ends meet. And so this is why one of my ways of forcing myself to set aside time for important play by giving myself a financial justification. Like theoretically, the YouTube channel could make money. Am I anywhere close to watch hours for it? No. No. Last check, I had 354 watch hours and 361 subscribers. I'm actually doing better in subscribers than I am in watch hours, which is something to be said for that, I suppose. I don't know what you should say, but there is something. But at any rate, so this just basically gives me that valid excuse, a way to validate it as a legitimate reason to spend the time. Because I have a tendency to be very productivity minded. So it's hard for me to turn that off and to say it's okay to play. I feel guilty when I'm not working on things. I don't know. I think that comes partly because of the way I was raised. Like if you weren't working on something at any given point in time, the adults in my life would certainly help you find something to work on. So the last thing I want is a creative accountant doing your taxes. I don't know. There's a point where you might want some creative accounting, you know? Creative problem solving in the accounting solutions. As long as they're not breaking the rules, being creative with the rules is another thing. You definitely don't want them doing things that the IRS would not approve of, though. It's a really good way to end up on the wrong side of Uncle Sam's favor. Although, you know, oh, All right, so that tree is now looking more tree-like than it was, which is good. Turn on the trees around it and kind of see what we've got going on now. One by one, make sure they're all looking good. Make sure their placement is good. Yeah, this tree needs work. Okay. So boop, boop, boop. We're going to make those trees go away so I can focus on this one tree that does need work. And it's sort of a side tree. Is that like a side girlfriend? You get audited every 3 years or so? Yeah, that would be quite a hassle. I haven't made enough to ever get audited. Nobody cares, actually. Be like, oh yeah, you and your $12. Not 12, but you know, like last year, Ubi and I made a combined total of $15,000. So yeah, nobody's coming after us because there's no big money to be had. You got audited when you were 16? Wow. They owed you $11. Wow. I have never in my life been audited, which should shock people. But really, I haven't. Nobody's ever cared, I guess. I don't always think those audits are random, though. Just making this tree look a little more tree-like. And a little less like somebody scribbled on a page. One of the ways I figured out last year that how important me working on my own projects actually is to my creative functionality. I got this idea for a book. I was actually going back through a collection of book ideas that I had started and not really finished or not really worked on, and put together a story index. And, you know, that may be one of those streams I do, is reading you guys bits and pieces of all the stuff that I assembled. Because I've got, and this is a sad statement, over 120 different story ideas that I have got in various stages. I've even got 3 rough drafts that actually need to be edited. Completed rough drafts that are just sitting there waiting for me to invest time in them. But at any rate, so I was going through that and I got to the story idea that just grabbed hold of me, so much so, I was so obsessed with working on this story that I was doing it when I knew I shouldn't, when I knew I needed to be doing other things. Like I couldn't put it down. I couldn't make myself stop working on it. And ironically, the story was called The Trouble with Temptation. And I was being sorely tempted to work on this project. Like, here I am, I'm supposed to be doing something, I'm not supposed to be working on that, and I can't make myself stop thinking about it, I can't make myself stop working on it. I'm like, what is the deal with this? And then I realized that it was giving my heart a much needed outlet for expressing itself, and that in the process of trying to figure out why I couldn't put the story down, I recognized that my heart was demanding attention via creative outlets, and my head was over there telling me that this wasn't a productive use of my time. It was, I could be doing other things that would be more beneficial, but my So my head and my heart were in disagreement with one another. And that was what ultimately the story was. Not even about the girl and the guy. The girl and the guy were synonyms for the head and the heart. The head was over there going, you need to work, 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 work. And the heart was going, oh no, I need to do this. And it was winning. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm not probably not gonna try to read the phone book online. I don't know that would be very compelling content. You know, the funny thing is, I don't even know if I could find a phone book anymore to read. Used to be, they were the thing. I guess I could try reading the dictionary, but that too, I don't think would make very compelling content. I'm pretty sure I would lose a bunch of listeners. But I appreciate you saying so. It's very sweet to hear. But at any rate, so yeah. Sometimes I recognize that instance of being obsessed with the book and not being able to stop myself from working on it was actually my heart throwing a fit and saying, you know what, I need my time too. And telling my head to go stick it. So to speak. And it's kind of like when you got a man and a woman and they're in a relationship, and eventually the woman's like, you know what? No, that's not how it's going anymore. You're going to listen to me. And exactly. Thank you, Ubi, for your always being so supportive and so ready to come to my aid and need. Yeah, I know. You were being man. You were being a man. You're not listening. Sorry, what? I'm not listening.
You're a girl now, remember?
Exactly. I can't hear you. But yeah, so learning about myself, but that's part of what I do with my creative writing is I learn about myself. The characters in my stories are always, almost inevitably, some aspect of me that I need to explore. And I think that ends up coming out more and more. The older I get, the more that I understand this about myself. And I know that people think that writers invent their characters, but it's more like you discover them than that you truly write them. Or at least for me. I discover who they are. I don't invent them. Do. Ha 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 ha. Okay, so we have a winter castle scene. Folks, we have a question of the day, and the question of the day is, does this work feel complete to you? Do we need to add fall leaves on the bottom? Do we need to add some other stuff? Or is this done? I sort of feel like those crows are just too dark a little bit. Like they need something to highlight them, to help them really stand out. So I'm going to dive into working a little bit on them. Radiation poison. Where's my crows? There they are. I think I'm going to give them a little bit of highlight. But yeah, you guys are my critics today. You get to tell me if you feel like they're where they should be, or if we need to add something to the scene. Because after all, these are your babies as much as they are mine. I mean, I may have technically done the work, but you guys have guided it and directed it and helped me to put it together. Let's turn off the background noise. If I can see Mr. Crow by himself. Oop, I turned off the crow. No wonder it wasn't working right. I was on the wrong crow. That explains a lot. Okay. I need to zoom in too. See what's going on. See, the crows are now floating in the air. Ah! Magic crow! I actually think we need something that stands apart from the blue of the back. You know what? Maybe this is time for something gold. Maybe that is what we need here. Blend that in a little bit and see how it works. I don't want it to be obtrusive, but I do want it to set them apart. I don't want a viewer to notice it. I don't want it to really stand out, but it should help them stand out from the rest of the scene and really be more noticeable. One of the things about art is that if objects are not differentiated enough, then it all blends in together and none of the work you've done on it matters. The viewer's eyes aren't going to be able to distinguish between things. So it's important to have adequate contrast in the right areas so that your reader's or your viewer's eye gets pulled toward it and can actually tell what the heck it is apart from the rest of the scene. Who would I say lives in the house? In the castle? Actually, it was supposed to be kind of an abandoned castle. So we might have a wizard who lives there. Maybe. My mom? What?
Not your mom. First, the generic
Oh.
your mom.
Your mom. Ubi says your mom lives in the house. Yo mama. There you go. The yo mama jokes can begin now. Oh no, that's fine. Red eyes is fine. We could actually do that. That might work well. Let's try red. Unless it just, oh, I'm still in blur mode. That's why it's not working. It's important to turn the right colors. Give yourself the right tools for the job, man. Well, it is called the murder of crows. Ubi's threatening to murder my crow, man. So violent. very carefully. Booby says he doesn't know how he screwed it up, but he did, and I told him very carefully. When you're gonna screw something up, screw it up with care. Don't just, go half-assed. Go full on. Screw it up all the way. Put your heart into it. Whoop, yep. Edward Scissorhands, but we need shrubs for that. You'd like her to get out of the city. Who invented the word? Who invented the word brother? Well, I don't know. Who invented the word who? The owl did! That's who! Ha 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 ha. Owl told you so. Thank you. You're welcome to my open mic night. I'll be here all week. Tip your waiters. Don't forget to order your cocktail on the way out. True story, also slightly humorous story. When my son was about 9 or 10 years old, he decided that when he grew up, he wanted to create a tea shop. And, because I had graphic design skills and a little bit of marketing knowledge, I helped him to design the logo, and we were discussing the particulars of his tea shop and how it would run. And I said, so, buddy, are you going to offer sandwiches and stuff, for people to eat? And he's like, nope, just tea. Just tea. He's like, yep, they can just get their tea and get out. I don't want them staying around. I was like, oh, okay. Very friendly sounding tea shop. Like, yep, I don't need them to stay. Just get their tea and go. Pretty much. Get your S and get out. I was thinking, warm, friendly vibes. He's thinking tea to go, man. Tea to go. Oh, that would be a funny name for a tea shop. T minus and counting. It's tea to go. This murder crow is looking awesome. Linda, thank you for the suggestion on the red touches. Not only does it help it stand out, but it also gives us more of a theme to work with. Nice. Two antennas meet on a roof, they fall in love and get married. The wedding was boring, but the reception was great. Nice, Steve, nice.
Still encourage Steve to spell you under the boat.
Ubi says I shouldn't encourage you, but, I believe in equal opportunity. Bad jokes. This does make me wonder where that red light is coming from. That's coloring our little raven. You know, maybe that's actually inside the castle. That is not a bad idea. Well, the raven's probably evil, but maybe the castle is too. Oh, you know what? I need to put that on the castle layer, not on the raven layer. Dirt. The dirt, dirt, dirt. And it's under the grounds. Lost your life's research on how to cure excessive itching. Looks like you'll have to start from scratch. Oh, Lord. Well, you know, it could be worse. That's rude. Tyson is going to the veterinary doctor's office tomorrow at 2:30, but it's not the usual one that we go to because we couldn't get him in until 2 weeks from now. Well, I'm glad to hear the kitty's going to get himself some doctor help. I know it's not cheap. Vets never are. But that poor kitty, man. You know what we're going to do? I like how this one has turned out well enough. Let's put a little extra. I want to do it on the crow's feet here. You guys happen to be up early tomorrow. I am going to be speaking around 7 a.m. Central Time in a 144 Voices on G-Woman TV. So I'll pop a link to that in chat when I'm wrapping up, and you guys, or actually I'll put it as a post you guys can follow in the community. And then if you guys want to hear me speak, I'll be talking about power and leadership and what those two things mean and have to do with one another, at least from my perspective. Guaranteed to be a spicy take, because you know that's what I do. I recognize that some of you people have actual jobs and you may not be able to attend, and that's no harm, no foul. Just wanted to let you know. Oh, but I do believe some of you do have lives. Not me, but some people. Some people have lives. I try to avoid that. Walking Dead type thing, you know. You know, people are always telling me I should get a life. But every time I walk into the store and ask, they're all fresh out of them. And now that we've added color to our little raven, or crow actually, let's see how that pans out in the rest of the painting. Did it help or not? Oop. It did give us more of a theme to build on. I like it. Okay, so it did help in a sense. The crow does stand out more. He needs more red across the top of him. So, yeah, come down here and give him more red on the top. Veterinary practices are quite expensive. You wouldn't think so, but they are. And I'm aware that they have, they have a lot of bills to pay. Takes a lot of money to run the machines that help diagnose and treat animals, just like it does with people. It's crazy. You just got hospitalized due to a peekaboo accident. They put me in ICU. Oh, Lord. Nice job, Steve. Ubi says, he warned me. I did not take heed. It is now on me. Yeah, I think that crow's cooked. No, just kidding. The highlights are where we can make these crows look less like duplicates of one another, more like individuals. So it's something I'm going to take advantage of right now. Uh-oh. Ubi's threatening to fall asleep on me. I'll board him. No, he's exhausted. He is going to stream, though, tonight. So, even tired, he's going to be awake enough for you guys.
It may not be a 2-hour stream, but
May not be the full 2-hour show. And you won't have marbles to play. There'll be no getting your balls out on this stream, but
no one's going to show up.
I doubt that's true.
They're there for the music and the marbles. Without those, there's no reason to do it.
Oh, come on now. The music and the marbles are a good excuse to show up, but I don't think they're the whole thing. I'm pretty sure they like you. I needs to be done better. There we go. The beady little eye going. Your wife asked you if you could clear the kitchen table. You had to hit a running start, but you made it. Nice. It's good to know that track practice is still in you, man. I used to actually be able to clear hurdles. I did do track in junior high for like one semester. Then, well, let's just say I learned an important life lesson through track. About the importance of not quitting a quarter of a mile from the finish line just because you feel like you're not going to win. I was not a very gracious loser. At that point in time in my life, I had not learned humility at all. And so if I wasn't going to win, I didn't see the point in continuing. So I was going to lose. I was hurting. And literally a quarter of a mile from the finish, not even a quarter of the mile, like 10 feet from the finish line, I limped over to my mother. And she encouraged me, to go ahead and quit. But the coach chewed me out come Monday morning. And I did not know how to take that at the time. So I quit track. But it's something I to this day, reflect on, because you shouldn't quit like that. It was not cool of me. But it's something I carry, like lots of life lessons I carry with me from younger days. Things that you don't expect are going to change you, impact you. For a long time, I was pissed off at her for not being more understanding of my pain, but now I kind of understand what she was trying to get me to do, is see that, it doesn't matter whether you're first or fifth, at least finish the game. At least finish what you start. Don't quit on yourself. Don't give up on yourself. At least finish. Maybe that's what the other crow needs too, is more red. I'm liking how this one over here is looking. Yeah, I think I'll go back in and give the other one more red. You should drag the Chromebook down to the hot tub. Well, I don't think we need electrocuted Ubi. I don't think that would be a good idea. This has taken the painting that we're doing in a whole different direction, but I have no regrets. I kind of like it. It's very, much more gothic than I probably would have gone without that suggestion, but I like it. And it does help the crows stand out quite a bit now. They're not getting lost in the rest of the painting. I always say that the best design work, the best artwork, isn't done by an individual, but by multiple people's input coming in together. Because everybody adds their own perspective to it. And so you're going to get ideas from other people that you never would have on your own. Yes, it's coming in Gothic. You used to be able to hurdle the desks at school when you worked at the autistic children. It would try to run out the door, out of the room, land back on your face now. Yeah, no kidding, right? The things I used to be able to do when I was a kid that I just, ugh. Please don't ask me to do that now. I couldn't even begin to think of it. I mean, heck, I used to be in gymnastics. I was incredibly flexible. But that was years ago. Don't ask me to do those things now, because I sure as heck couldn't. Yeah, see, now that we have these crows, we're going to add more red to the castle too, because it just gives me that vibe. Boom! So thank you for that wonderful suggestion, because this is just turned in a totally unexpected direction, but I'm liking it. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm liking it. Not loving it. No, just kidding. With this painting, actually, I think it really fits. Kind of gives you the idea of why it might have been abandoned. Like maybe it's not entirely abandoned. Maybe it's just that the residents that are there aren't the kind that come out to play during the day. Amazing how just a small change of the color palette gives it a totally different feel. The dark bluish purple in the dark. We could try that. Yeah, we can definitely try adding some of that. Let's see what happens. Oh, helps if I switch back to my paintbrush tool. And maybe actually we do the dark bluish purple for the sky too. That might be a really good touch to add, and maybe kind of like a make this a more dusk feel by mixing the crimson with that dark bluish purple. I think that might look pretty sweet. Yes, I am using an Intuos Pro for the drawing, so it is a digital tablet that is, and I'm working with Adobe Photoshop as the basically canvas, if you will. Well, thank you for joining us, Malachi. Yeah, I gotta shoot a video of you tearing down the Fesley Super Strat. Nice. I'll have to check that video out when you get it done. All right. Yeah, you know, now that we've got those colors going, I definitely want to change out the sky. I like it. Yeah, I picked it up for $50 on Facebook Marketplace. So it was one of the best deals of my life. 100 stars, would recommend. I'm going to turn that off for now. Just focus on the background. Yeah. Don't do that. That's what makes them start shooting at you. Those crows without their gates look pretty wicked. But yeah. So let's come back here, because this was a happier sky, but now that we've got all that red and stuff, it doesn't seem as appropriate anymore. So let's come back in here and make our sky match with our castle. Give me my color picker. Start with some of that red. We're going to go with the softer on pressure. Pick up the size. Bigger, bigger, bigger. Make it bigger. Yeah. Don't go too crazy. Now we're going to pick up some of that purple, that dark blue purpley. And mix that in with it. Don't do that. Stop it. Stop. Stop misbehaving. I need to get the toolbar out of the way. It keeps trying to click into it and act like it's making selections, and that's what's messing it up. Okay, now we go for some big smoosh. My favorite, the smudge tool. Big smudge. Not liking that. Let's try this. It's too much. Tone that down a bit. That's better. All right, we got roughly 6-7 minutes before I'll be turning the stream over. Give you a chance to get a break, get some snacks, and get back in time for the Ubi's chat. Tonight's not going to be a music stream per se. It'll be a chatting about music and life. Not a TED Talks Guitars in Life. It'll be a Booby Talks Music in Life. Zoom out a little bit. The background now has way more character and flavor to it than it did before, which is good. I'm going to pop the capsule out of sight so we can just focus on that background. Boop. Bring those reds in, make sure they're bold enough. Pop our tool out of the way so it stops getting selected. No worries. Hey, you were filming measuring specs on a guitar. That's cool. Good to see you, Brian. Good to know you were lurking. It's okay. I gets it. I gets it. We're just kind of playing around with the background now, giving it a color and a feel that more matches what we did with the castle and the crows. More reds, more purples. So kind of got a sunset feel to it now. We are doing well. We have made it to Morris. We're getting settled in one bit at a time. You guys have been such a huge help. You've made everything possible. Helped to really smooth out the way. Obviously, there's the last little hurdles to climb over, but you know what? I'm feeling good about that too. My job got pushed back start date until March 6th, so this week is just kind of a work on projects and wrap up life kind of week for me. But it's good. Boobies is, he'll catch you up to date on what's going on with his. And yeah, I kind of like that background that we've got going on now. A little more ominous than the other was. But it fits the castle now. Oh, didn't notice that we didn't have red in one of those windows. Pop. Put that in there now. Move that brush size down. There we go. Appropriately gothic now. I feel like some vampire must live there. We need more red in that background. Must have more red. All right, guys, as much as I love playing around with my drawings with you, we are going to have to stop the stream so that there's time for you to get a break while we prep up for the Ubi. And, yeah, we will see each other. My next stream is obviously Thursday. Oh, I was going to put the link to that speaking engagement that I have, so give me just a second to pop that link up. And if you guys want to join me, you are more than welcome. That is tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Boop. Oh, it won't let me put the full thing in there. Okay, that's fine. Oh, great. It borked the copy. Okay. There we go.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me try again. Third time's the charm, right? There's the link. No, it copied the period, so it didn't.
Period. It keeps getting it.
Yeah, it does not want to do appropriate for me. Boom! Try that.
Oh, it has to have the HTTP.
Oh, never mind. Finally.
There it is.
Yeah, woo! Tech challenges have been overcome. We are the winners. Thank you guys again for joining me. I hope to see you. If I don't see you tomorrow morning, I know I will see you Thursday if you can, and if you can't, well, you know, nothing held against you. But yes, this drawing is looking awesome. You guys have helped make it what it is. Let me know if you guys want copies of the pieces of this file so that you can play with it in whatever image editing program you've got going on. I can parse it out to PNG files that you can put on separate layers and let you play with it like that. If you're interested, I'll be more than happy to do that because this work is partly yours. This is a shared creative endeavor. And yeah, that is our stream for tonight. Woo! Look at us go. Thanks for joining me. And y'all